Hello, everybody. Super excited to have y'all joining us on this beautiful Friday. We're located here in Idaho Falls. I hope y'all are having some better weather than us. It's been snowing a little bit this morning. Maybe that's your cup of tea. But to give me a little bit of excitement, a little hope, put in the chat box, where are you tuning in from? Please, somebody give me a beach somewhere in the Philippines or Florida. Give me some good weather. But there in the chat, put where you're from. Perfect. Deborah from sunny Orlando, Florida. That's what I needed to hear. Murray from Winnipeg, Manitoba. All right, Canada. It's okay. Snow, we can tolerate it together then. Awesome. Perfect. So Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Asad, nice to have you. Kenneth in Malaysia, great to see you. Figuratively speaking, of course. Awesome. Carol in Tennessee. Look, keep those coming in the chat box. We're super excited to have y'all. We want this to be as interactive as possible. Like many of y'all know, doing things online, that can be a bit of a challenge. So the chat box is where we're going to spend some time getting to know each other a little bit. I have an awesome team that's manning that chat box. So if I don't get to your question verbally, be patient with us. We'll have some dedicated time toward the end to go over those. They'll be collecting those questions and answering some on the spot as needed. All right. Just to give you all a quick intro to Demio, if this is the first time y'all have used this platform, in the top right corner, y'all have already shown your proficiency in the chat feature. Right next to that tab is the polls button. So that button, we're going to actually launch some polls here in a minute to get some feedback from y'all. So jump in, take those, and we'll get going with some feedback to understand how do we better help you as educators. To let y'all know the agenda for today's meeting. Okay, so we're going to launch some polls here in a second to get some initial feedback, some initial interaction with y'all. We're going to do a round by round overview of the simulation. We're going to jump into what the instructor portal looks like for you. And then I'm going to play through round one at a bit of an accelerated pace, just so y'all can get familiar with what the simulation looks like. Y'all will be able to access the simulation after I play through round one, show you through round two. You're going to play through as a competition. One of the biggest things we hear from educators is how good y'all are at doing these simulations and how you wish your students could keep up. So this is your chance to kind of back up that talk a little bit. There will be prizes awarded to first, second, and third place, and I'll show you how that will be graded. We're going to announce the winners. I'll go over pricing and what the next steps look like, and then there'll be a 15-minute dedicated question and answer session. And then we will send the recordings to everybody after the session's over today. So if you have to leave a little bit early, obviously, if you can stay the whole time, great. If not, we'll make sure we send those to you. Just to also give you a little bit of background into Stukent and who we are. For many of y'all, this may be the first time you've really interacted with us. We've been around for 7 years. All right, we specialize in digital courseware. It's digital textbooks and simulations. We believe strongly in getting students hands-on in their learning. We understand that students today, they're asked for experience when they get into job interviews, right? And so we feel like simulations is a great way for education to support those students and get them hands-on and learning those skills. We've worked with over 2,500 institutions around the world in varying different sizes and types, from local technical colleges and training institutions to community colleges and private and public universities around the world. Okay, we've helped over 100,000 students this year alone. And so like I mentioned earlier, we're going to jump in with some polls. There's going to be 4 polls that we'll launch right now from my team that you'll answer, and we'll start to talk a little bit about. These are to help us understand who's in the group, okay? So the first one is, what type of teaching institution are you currently at? The next one is, how much experience do you have teaching marketing at the higher ed level? How would you categorize your greatest obstacle to teaching your ideal marketing class? And the fourth and final one, how many students will be enrolled in your upcoming course? All right, so as we look at those, it looks like 47% so far teach at private colleges. Great, cool. Community college and technical colleges, the next top answer. How much experience do you have teaching? 7+ years is 65%. We have some seasoned veterans. That makes me excited to show you what we have and how it can really help you in your class and what that might differ from what you already do. What would you categorize your greatest obstacle? Low classroom engagement, 11 answers. That's 58%. of all the attendees so far who've at least taken this poll, and that's climbing. More people are saying low classroom engagement. We're going to show you how to fix that problem today. Vast majority, 54% in climbing, 31 to 100 students enrolled in your upcoming classes for principles of marketing. All right, so we're going to show you today low classroom engagement. Now, I want to emphasize these simulations really do an incredible job getting students hands-on in their learning. And the way we've styled it and some of the unique features of it, which I'll show you, will allow you to engage better with your students as opposed to spending more time in your grading. So I'm going to jump into everyone's favorite thing, a slide deck. Okay, so I'll briefly go through this and then we'll get right into the simulation, all right? So officially welcome to the Mimic Marketing Principles Bootcamp, all right? So we're going to go through the simulation here in a minute and how it helps with diverse marketing classes, no matter the size of the class, no matter the major that your introductory to marketing class falls under. Okay, this was created to be a good standard introduction to marketing for a variety of students at a variety of different institutions, all right? So why did we create Mimic Marketing Principles? What makes it different than every other simulation out there? Right, that's the big question we get. All right, so Mimic Marketing Principles is a game-changing simulation for students in all areas of business. All right, it was created in partnership with educators and industry experts. We created this to give students a real-world experience, helping them develop skills, something that they can add to their resume, so that when they're applying for the jobs, they can talk about the things that they're learning. We're going to jump in now. The simulation's been around for about throughout 2020 for a good chunk of it, and we already have had some institutions and schools implement it in their class, and many that have reviewed it. If this applies to you, if you have used Mimic Marketing Principles, or if you've had an in-depth review already, throw in the chat. What are some things that you've learned, that you've experienced with it? I'd love to hear good experiences. If you've had them already, throw those in the chat so the other educators can see what you've learned, what you've experienced. As those populate, I'm going to keep going so we can get into the simulation as quick as possible. All right. So here's the story behind Mimic Marketing Principles. Your students will be hired to work in the marketing department at Bowie Supply Co. It's a retail bag supplying company that they're jumping in, and they're going to learn to target a new market segment. So the first thing that they're going to do, the overall goal is they're launching a product, and they're going to be learning different skills at different stages within the rounds. So the first thing they're going to do is dive into market research. Then they're going to get into actually launching the product, developing a promotions plan, setting distributors, there we go, optimizing that distribution, optimizing pricing, and then optimizing the promotions plan. So those first several rounds are going to be a lot of students' first experience. And so we want to give them the opportunity to develop those skills and then learn how to optimize based on the feedback they're getting and on the coaching and teaching you're able to provide as their educator. A little bit of navigation within the simulation. We're going to start over at the bottom left corner. When you get in, round navigation is something that's going to be unique for you as an educator. In the bottom left corner, you're going to be able to toggle through the different rounds and jump and review different aspects of the simulation. Top left, we want students to learn how to manage a budget, right? Just like in marketing when they get into the real world. So they will have a budget window identifying them, helping them identify how much of their budget they have remaining. In the top right, round guides and student support, and then profile and log out so you can toggle between student and instructor view. At the bottom is run simulation. Obviously, that's the big red button, so to speak. You push when you are ready to run your simulation and get your results. You cannot go back and change your answers after you click this and confirm you're ready. You would hit continue to next page to navigate through the rounds of the simulation. This is where we hear the most excitement from educators. Spending time grading as opposed to spending time teaching and working one-on-one with students is always a huge burden, especially average class size 31 to 100 is what most of the poll takers experienced. You will be able to see your students' specific grades, and I'll show you more about that here in just a second. But more importantly, you will see their specific results, and then the simulation provides tailored feedback to your students, identifying what areas they need to improve on and how they can do that, allowing you to really work one-on-one with those students if possible to help coach them and help them get better in certain areas, whether it's pricing or the promotions aspect or the market research and the decisions they made, right? You can dive specifically in there with those students. I'll show you about that in a second, but you do have the ability, if you look at the product settings tab, you can jump in and adjust the start dates and really personalize this and customize the way this flows for your specific courses. And then let's get started. So I'm going to get off of the slide deck and we're going to jump right into the simulation. So here we go. Let me click a few buttons here on my end and we will jump right in to this here. Perfect. So let me jump right in. As you see, we're in the instructor portal now. Jace Allred is one of my students that I've been working with. And I noticed in round 2, launching your product, he obtained a score of 57%. And I want to better understand how to help him. I can open up that round just by clicking that score. And now I see Jace's decisions as he worked through the simulation. The bag that he selected, his positioning statement, the results, and what feedback. So pricing was obviously a big holdup for him, as well as positioning, his positioning statement. So allowing me to go in and give him some specific feedback and coach and teach him specifically what he needs to get better at. Let's jump right in. Launching Mimic Marketing Principles. That's what everybody came for, right? So let's get right into it. It's going to just take a second to set up the sim. Here we go. As you get into Mimic Marketing Principles, the first thing you're going to see is a welcome video. This is the introductory video to help you navigate the simulation. If students can give 1 minute and 43 seconds, this will alleviate the common questions we all get of, I don't know what button to click, I don't know where to go or what to do. This will help students navigate the simulation. We also include this big blue button that I showed earlier about continue. So after they've been welcomed and you watch that video, they're going to receive a note from their chief marketing officer introducing them to their new role. So as Bowie's newest product marketing manager, you've been hired to launch a tote bag that targets a new demographic, Soccer Mom Sam. So here we're going to learn about who Soccer Mom Sam is. Okay, she's 30 to 39 years old, married, children ages 8 to 16. She works 20 plus hours a week, higher than average disposable income, constantly on the go, fashion conscious, and values organization, space, and style in handbags. Okay, they're going to come through and learn about a little bit more about Boohee itself so they can understand what they're getting themselves into. And this is just the introductory section. We include a lot of video engagement to keep students involved and to feel as though they are really interacting with a company as opposed to just reading and clicking. All right. So student engagement was a high priority for many of y'all. This is one of the ways that we can accomplish that. As we see, get started now. Yes, I've done all the work I can do. Let's go ahead. So here we are. We're in the scenario. All right. So they're going to get their first memo from their chief marketing officer. And the first topic they're digging into and really tackling is market research. So market research will play an important role in your decision-making at Bowie. This is the data and research that they're going to use to make their decisions throughout the rest of the simulation. One note that I'll mention, I'm going to fly through this fairly quickly. And then as you play through it, we'll give you about 20 minutes to play through rounds 1 and round 2. Like many of y'all know, in marketing, yeah, you can make random decisions and get results of some kind. So can students fly through the simulation quickly? In theory, yes. But like they're going to experience in the real world, being able to understand why they're making their decisions. So spending more time selecting the right market research to acquire, whether it's through purchasing or survey questions, studying that research, and then in turn making better decisions will allow them to have more confidence in achieving the right results they're looking for. Again, being able to sit in that interview and say, hey, if you gave me a budget and you will hire me as a marketer, this is what I'll do and why. This is why I believe I'll bring results. Being able to really start painting that picture for students, okay? So we really estimate students spend roughly an hour in each round of the simulation. So digging in, getting the experience, learning what to do. As they jump in, they're given the memo each round, which will introduce them to what their goals are and what their objectives are. As we continue again, we're going to jump into their first task. Okay, so it's target market research. So right here, you'll see highlighted with this section, pick 11 questions that will help you understand your target market in North America. You'll be referring back to the data you collect as you move through the product launch process. So they're given 73 survey questions that they'll choose 11 of those 73. So let me just read a couple for you. Which of the following activities do you enjoy most? Select all that apply. That's a pretty good one. I want to include that one. If I scroll a bit further, Let's see. What type of accounts do you follow on social media? Select all or apply. Okay, let's look at that one. Which of the following platforms do you use most often? It's probably good to know as I try to identify where to spend my marketing budget. As you see, they will get to choose what information they want to learn about their target audience. So I'm going to go through and select a few, and you may notice this may be the bad example I referenced, right? So I'm going to click questions at random. Yes, I will still get survey results. It might help me, it might not. I don't know for sure, but for time's sake, I'm going to go through and select 11 of these questions so we can get through other parts of the simulation. For fun, I'm going to select the very last one, right? So as we come here, we're going to hit continue. So far, I haven't touched that budget, but now this is what Bowie's asking me to do. They're saying you have a $5,000 budget to purchase as much outside research as possible, okay? So try to purchase the data that will complement your survey questions. The biggest mistake you can make is to collect valid data and then do nothing with it. So we're going to come through and try to identify what I would like to learn. So with the $5,000, insights on tote bags in North America, that's a $2,000 one, but let's go ahead and purchase that one. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and select all tote bags on shelves. Sure, let's do that one today. And then let's see, handbag advertising trends in North America. Let's do it. Now, one thing you'll notice, I did not spend my budget wisely. I didn't make great decisions. And so I cannot purchase any of the remaining research. I have insufficient funds. Even though I have $1,000 remaining, I didn't pay attention. I didn't look right. And now I won't have as much data as I could, as much research as I could if I was paying a little bit more attention. Let's go ahead and hit run simulation. Now we're ready to go. Yep, I have $1,000 remaining. I recognize that mistake. And now I'm stuck with it. I have to live with those decisions. Here's what this research will look like. Round one is much more of a completion-based score. Did they work through the tasks? Did they hit run simulation? Do they have their data now to work with? So as you come through, you can absolutely see the survey questions as well as the research that I purchased. You can open these and hit show details and be able to see that data from Reynolds research. So we're gonna go back to the simulation. So that's round one. It's already brought me here in round two. Now, again, like I mentioned, in the instructor side, you can set start dates. So it won't let them move on to the next round until you're ready for them to. You can organize that the way you need to in your course. They're going to jump in, and now we're going to go into launching the product. I'm not going to walk through this as far as like playing through it, but I will show you what this looks like so you're ready for the competition here in just a second. You're given your memo of the video to watch, and you're shown a bit about needing to create a positioning statement, selecting a tote, and determining its retail price. So here's the memo about what specifically you're going to be doing here in this round. First is the positioning statement. We give them some insight as to what that should look like. And then here, just so you can see this, based on what you know about Soccer Mom Sam, you're going to come through and select this positioning statement through selecting these cues here. Now, at any point in the sim, in the bottom right corner, you'll see research, this little blue button. If you select that, you're brought right back into who Soccer Mom Sam is as a customer profile, as well as the survey results and any of the research that you've purchased. And so at any time, you can make data-driven decisions, right? You can understand why you're making the decisions you're making. Okay, so we're gonna come through here, go over to the product selection portion. So we're gonna come through, and you have all these products to answer. Orange is my favorite color. So as maybe some of your students may do, I like orange. Let's just go ahead and select this orange one today. We're gonna move on, and this shows you what the product pricing feature looks like within Mimic Marketing Principles. You can enter in a number here. So I'm gonna charge full price. I wanted to get every dollar I can out of this. So $300. Once I've actually fully accomplished and completed my positioning statement, product selection, and pricing, then I'll move on through running the simulation. So that is essentially round two of Mimic Marketing Principles that each of y'all will be playing through. Okay. If you have any questions, obviously throw those in the chat as we work through that. Let's jump back in. We're going to come through here. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is in the chat, my team's going to go ahead and throw a link for each of y'all to be able to create your student account. You're going to want to log in as a student. And now you can play through rounds 1 and round 2 of Mimic Marketing Principles yourself. And like I said, if you have the courage, there are prizes on the line to see who is the best introductory to marketing professor we have in this boot camp. And so to let you know a little bit more about those prizes. Okay, so third prize will be a Stukent swag bag, which will be really exciting. Everybody loves some nice Stukent gear. Second prize will be a fruit and cheese pairing box. I'm not as cultured as some, so it is the brand is so fancy, I don't even know what it's called, but I'm sure it's delicious. And then first place will be a year of Spotify Premium. So some great unwinding abilities, right, with listening to your music uninterrupted. I'm sure we'd all love to be uninterrupted more. So go ahead and follow that link. If you have any concerns or questions, go ahead and put them in the chat window. My team's collecting those. If you have issues setting up your account, we do have some technical support as well, paying attention so they can hop into your account if you're having those issues. You'll have 20 minutes to play through round 1 and round 2 of the simulation. So you are free to jump in. And I'll be hanging out here. So if there's any other questions, you can throw them in. We'll answer them as needs be or collect them for the end. Yes, so you'll play through as a student. Correct. And again, be patient. If you do need to leave early, we're going to collect these questions and we're going to answer as many as we can in those last 15 minutes. So if you come back and listen to the recording, you should be able to see your question answered. So please let us know thoughts, feedback as well. We're going to have a couple different options for you to provide feedback afterwards as well. So 20 minutes. It is currently 21 after the hour here. And so we will go till 40 minutes after the hour. So you will log in as a student. If you feel like you're still having some issues, please don't get too frustrated. Put it in the chat. Let us help you get in so you can play through today. All right, so just under 15 minutes remaining in our Mimic Marketing Principles competition. If any of you are joining us now or just joined us in the past few minutes, currently we are playing through the simulation in a competition format. If you are just joining and you need a link, you can go to the chat window and there will be a link, or just pop in there and say, hey, I'm just joining. We'll make sure we get you a link and set up. It appears as though most of y'all are in and playing through the simulation, so I'll try to bother y'all as little as possible so you can focus. As a quick reminder, round 2 is where you're actually going to be seeing graded results based on what you're doing. So that's where the competition will be graded from. Round 1, again, you're just acquiring the market research, more of a completion style grade. Round 2 is where we're going to grade your work, see who is the best today. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns or having any issues. About 10 minutes remaining. 10 minutes remaining. All right. So we technically have 5 minutes remaining. There hasn't been a ton of questions posted for the Q&A section. And it seems like there's as far as how many have completed the simulation so far, the number's pretty low. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend the playing portion of the boot camp by a few extra minutes. So we're going to give technically 9 more minutes now. So for 45 minutes after the hour, we'll let y'all play through. So if a few of y'all are just getting rolling, you have about 9 minutes to get going and get your scores in. Everybody else, push through, wrap up, and then we'll jump into just 1 or 2 questions that have come through. If you have finished and you have questions, put them in the chat so we can go over them in our Q&A. I'm sure you're not the only one who's thought of that question or that concern. So put it in so we can go over it together. Put those in, and like I said, we'll go about 8 or so minutes from now, 8-9 minutes, and then we'll wrap up. Remaining in the playthrough. I see a couple questions coming up about how much you should be playing. The boot camp competition is just rounds 1 and round 2. You as an instructor have access to play through as many rounds as you'd like. And so if you are finished and you just want to poke around for a few extra minutes, you absolutely can move on a little bit. But for today, the competition is just rounds 1 and 2. And then we'll go over a few things here in just under 5 minutes, so 4 minutes and change. It looks as though a good chunk are finishing up. So the remaining workers under 4 minutes now, just keep working through, do the best you can, and then we'll go over the winners and a few other bits of information. Down to the final minute. So just 1 more minute, wrap a few things up, throw in any questions you have. My team's collecting the most frequently asked questions, ones we're going to cover in our Q&A. So if you'd like to see any questions you have answered in this boot camp, definitely throw those in. And we're collecting all the information we need to announce the winners here shortly as well. So keep working through those. Like I mentioned, down to the final minute. All right, we have come to the conclusion of our Mimic Marketing Principles instructor playthrough. Thank you for taking the time to jump through that, work through it. Really great to see some initial feedback as well as some self-reflection for some of y'all. Some really important ones, like maybe needing to know the difference between a tote and a handbag, or being surprised a little bit about the results. I saw one instructor said once they got to those optimization rounds and were able to fine tune, they finally started seeing great results. That's the type of real world experience your students will get, and the engagement portion of being able to say, why didn't I do good? How can I be better moving forward? Before we jump into the winners, I do want to highlight just one thing. It's now buried in the comments. So if you've been kind of head down working to the simulation, you probably didn't see it. But one of your fellow boot camp members, Jack LeBaugh, he mentioned in the comments section, he said, this simulation is worth its weight in gold. I was able to test it in my class this semester, and it is amazing. It breathes new life into your lectures and brings the terms, concepts, and vocabulary to life. Students are no longer memorizing concepts to pass the test, but they are using learning the concepts and being forced to make real life scenario-based decisions that they will be using every day in their professional career. The case studies, these case studies are the best in the business. And so from one of your fellow instructors, that was his experience working with the video case studies that we'll talk about here briefly in a second, and the simulation in his course. Let's jump in. Some other great feedback coming in, so go ahead and read those. Let's jump right into the winners, right? What you all want to see, who performed the best, okay? So we'll start in third place. So third place is the Student swag bag, so you can dress like me and you can be able to wear some of our fun gear that we'll send you. Elizabeth Power, you got 84% in that round. Well done. That's pretty good. A lot better than I did my first time playing through. Second place, which is the wonderful fruit and cheese pairing box, is Kristen Bogue. Nice job with 93%. And first place, the pace setter of the group and a 1 year of Spotify Premium is Paula Waldruff with 100%. Apparently, we got to learn from what she's doing. She absolutely killed it. That's incredible. And so we'll be in touch with the three of y'all to be able to get contacted and make sure we get you what you earned, what you won today. So let's jump into a few of the options, right? So what does this mean for you in your class? Let's look. Let me jump here. Pricing. So the simulation. You're going through, you liked what you played through, and now you want to know if it fits well with your class. The simulation can be used as a standalone a portion of the course. It's $59.99 on its own per student for Mimic Marketing Principles. We offer a couple bundling options, which obviously I would highly recommend. They bring a different layer and a different perspective into the overall course. Mimic Marketing Principles pairs really well with the Modern Marketing Principles textbook that you see here on the right. It's $119.99 if you bundle the text and sim. So that's Jay Rackley and Kinda Wilson are the authors. They're incredible individuals as well, bringing a wonderful perspective from industry and education. The text and sim are great together. And then we have an all access bundle, something that Jack LeBaugh mentioned in that review that I read here in the chat box. We have video case studies. There's 13 video case studies you can bundle with the textbook and with the Mimic Marketing Principles sim. It's only $149.99 for the full textbook, full video case studies, and full simulation. And so you get lifetime access to the textbook, which is, like I mentioned earlier, we continually update those textbooks in the digital format. And so you can go through and figure out what works best for you. Now, what we want to be able to do for you is we recognize that as educators and as you go through these experiences, you really fall into two categories at this point in the process. So category one is you've liked what you've seen, but you don't know if it's the right fit for your course still. There's still some things you need to work through. Maybe you had trouble getting in. Maybe there's just some other things you need to know. That's where we offer to schedule a one-on-one walkthrough with your course consultant. This is really a consulting appointment. You've already seen a brief walkthrough from me. You've already dived in and played a little bit through the simulation. This is going to be our opportunity to get to know your course individually a little bit, answer any specific questions you have that maybe the other attendees didn't have here today, and help you determine, does this make sense for your course, and how do we get to that stage in the process where you know, yes, I want to use it. If you know you want to use Mimic Marketing Principles in your course already, then what we'll do is we have you go ahead and schedule a time with your dedicated customer success manager. So you're going to fill out what we call an order form. What this lets us know is that you're committed to use the simulation in the class, and now we want to help you with implementation, preparation, knowing how to enroll students, and some of the other logistics. So if you already know that you want to use the sim and now it's time to prepare and go through some of that side of things, The right person to get in touch with is your customer success manager. Here at Stukent, we have an entire team that's what they're here to do, is help you implement it, help you once you're in your semester, and they're really the experts to get that done. So they're here. If you know you're going to use the sim, you go ahead and fill out the order form, and we hop right in, and you'll be brought to their schedule. You can schedule that appointment with them and get ready to roll with implementation. Again, if you don't know if you want to use it and you want a little bit more assistance as far as answering questions, etc., that's that one-on-one consultation that you can schedule with your course consultant. Let's jump in. A few things we're going to have in the handouts tab. So next to chat tab and the poll tab is a handouts tab. There we're going to go ahead and post the simulations instructor guide for you to check out on your own time. So you can absolutely review that and be able to download that and see what that looks like. If you do have concerns, questions, how do I play through again, et cetera, absolutely. You can schedule that walkthrough with your course consultant and they can help you out with that too. That's really 10, 15 minutes and they can make sure they help you on an individual level. Let's jump into the next phase, which is going to be some Q&A. So we are good there. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. So that way you can just see me, what everyone loves to do, right? So let's jump right into the Q&A. How is grading integrated and populated into an LMS? Great question. So currently the way that you'll do that is as the grades populate within the simulation in the instructor guide, you're going to download those out as a CSV file, and then you'll import them into your grading book within your specific LMS platform. Okay. We get a lot of questions about LMS integration, and to be really transparent, it's something that we're working on. It's a really high priority for us. And what I would recommend is LMS integration means a lot of different things to a lot of different instructors. Schedule a time with your course consultant and let us know, what does LMS integration mean to you? What features and functionality would help you implement the simulation in your course so that we are prioritizing the right features and getting you what you need as soon as possible. And so if we don't know what you need, it's hard for us to deliver on that. So make sure you schedule a time with your course consultant. Let us know your feedback, what you'd like to see, and we are working on it. Okay. How long does it take for students to play through? I mentioned this a bit earlier. We recommend that students take 45 minutes to an hour to play through each round of the simulation. To click all the buttons like you've seen can be pretty short, but to actually learn the concepts, bring them to life, like Jack LeBall mentioned in his review, right? To learn the skills and actually figure out how it applies to business and marketing specifically, read all the prompts, read all the memos, go through the instructions, learn how to purchase proper research that is going to be applicable to your target market, learn how to analyze those survey questions and the research results and progress through those. And so we really do recommend roughly an hour per round is what students who get the most out of it usually do. Okay. Where do you see grades for each round? As an instructor in the instructor portal, you're able to view those. I can even share my screen and jump back into the instructor portal. So let's see, let me go through just a couple of the questions really quick. Perfect. Okay, so can students access the market research in the later rounds of the simulation? I'll show you that. Let's jump in. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again just really quick, and then we will be able to do this together. Great, so you should be seeing my screen currently. I think that's the phrase of 2020, right? Can you see my screen now? Right, that's what I'm sure we've all asked many, many times in our online courses and such. In the instructor portal, so today you logged in as a student, all right? So in the top right corner, if you see my obnoxious little cursor running around, you see Levi. If I click my name, I can log out, and then I would log back in as an instructor. Okay, if I log in as an instructor, you can come and see the instructor portal. When you log in there, you're able to see the students, their grades, and open and view their results like you see here. This will populate as you work through, and you'll be able to navigate and review those. In the simulation, so if I go to the other tab where I'm actually in the simulation, the bottom right-hand corner is the button that says research. So I'm currently in round 2. I'm working through positioning statement, product selection, and pricing, and I click research. It will populate not just Soccer Mom Sam's customer profile. Here are my survey results as I navigate through, and I have to move my cursor off of this window because this will only scroll through here. But if I keep going, now I can show details. This allows me to look at all of the research I purchased, be able to view those, and be able to utilize those features. At any point in the future rounds, that button will be there and you can access that research at any time. It pops right up. Oh, I saw what I need to saw. Now I'm ready to go make this decision for the page that I'm on. I jump right back in and now I keep working. So very easily acceptable with just the research button in the bottom right corner. All right, so let's see. Let's see here. So if we work through, I'll actually log back in and I'll show you really quick. Let's just do this together. We have a couple minutes left, and I'm just going to show you what this looks like. If I log in as an instructor, here's the test, right? If the boot camp navigator can log in and get his end to work, right, while I'm showing you my screen, that's always the fun adventure. So if I just log in as an instructor here, you'll be able to see Mimic Marketing Principles here, the courses that I'm enrolled in, that I have as a course. Then I see the Go to Admin button here within the simulation. If I open that here, we are setting up your instructor portal. It has me just verify my password again. And then we are logging in as an instructor. And then here's that page that I showed you earlier. So here I can see it's just populating the student grades. It'll populate again. While this is loading, you'll see it's a little bit grayed out, but once it actually loads, like you see here, here is export as CSV file, et cetera, et cetera. So you'll be able to jump in, and that's where you're able to review student grades and navigate through that. Perfect. So those are the questions that we have and the time we have to answer those. I really appreciate everybody jumping in. If you have any more questions, one-on-one consultations are your chance to get specific and a little bit deeper into your course, your situation. What do you need? You can schedule that now. We threw that button back up. Again, your course consultant works with educators every day and learning how to implement these in their course and come do that decision-making yes or no. And we're here to figure out, is that a yes or a no to help you? If it's not the right fit, you're not going to have a great experience. But based on the reviews like Jack LeBall and some of our wonderful educators, this absolutely will help and assist you in solving the issue of low student engagement and bringing these skills to life and giving students real applicable things they get to put on their resume and be able to go into interviews with confidence, talking about the experiences they've had. So make sure you jump on that button. If you have additional questions, if you want to see a specific feature that I didn't show you today, that's your chance. That's your one-on-one chance to jump in and do that. Again, thanks for joining us today. I'll hang out for a couple minutes in case anyone has any other questions or good jokes or warm weather stories they want to tell me in the chat window for the next 2 minutes or so. But I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day, their semester, and really hope everyone kicks butt in 2021. Let's go dominate that year together. See you, everybody.